Hey guys, I'm Ryan.
I'm Colton.
And this is Buck Bandits Outdoors. Colton and I have known each other since we were 12 years old, 13 years old.
Yeah, probably younger. Yeah,
probably younger than that. But we've always wanted to have a web series, and we used to make little YouTube videos when we were younger about baseball cards and all sorts of stuff.
But I wouldn't be willing to sell that because
I mean, this is like favorite card, and all you
he's
guys.
my favorite player.
Jacoby Ellsbury is his favorite player.
These are two Kosuke Fukudome rookies. I'll take.
But we wanted to have like a real sanctioned YouTube channel. He can vouch for that, and this is our shot at it.
Yeah.
So this is Buck Bandits Outdoors. We're no pro hunters like you see on TV. First off, we're catering towards the beginning hunter, to the more experienced hunters. We just want to cover a wide variety of experience levels. For example, I haven't shot a deer ever. This is my first year hunting. I've always been a bass fisherman, so I really was either fishing a tournament or I was toying around with something on my boat or something like that, and I never really felt the need to hunt or had the time to hunt. So this is my first year doing it. Colton here's been hunting since how long have you been hunting?
So, well, I took my baby pictures in camouflage. So I guess I've been deer hunting since probably about 5. And I guess what we're really trying to do with the channel is trying to show kind of what actual deer hunting's like in a scenario where you don't have access to
Resources.
thousands of acres of land, where you have to work every day, so you're kind of hunting on the weekends a little more, and you're not able to have an area where you can let bucks walk for 5 years to kill one.
Right. But there are a couple more guys that are on this channel. It's me, Colton, a kid named Jake Powell, Sammy Cammett, and a Cade Batchelor. We met Cade when we were in high school, maybe younger, and we met Sammy and Jake through our bass fishing club at East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina, and we've been friends ever since. We've been fishing together. We traveled far and wide together, Guntersville, Alabama, all over the place, and we thought we'd just start up a hunting channel.
It's one of those things where we've been talking about it for so long, and it's like there comes a point where if you keep talking about it and you never start it, then it'll never happen.
Right.
So that's why, I'm glad Ryan, we have a little group chat that we've been talking in, and Ryan sent a picture today of the freshly stamped YouTube channel. And we're just gonna go for it, basically.
Right. We should go for it.
We're not scripting anything, as you can tell. We don't have any monitors that we're reading off. We don't have any fancy editing equipment. We're basically just videoing this on our iPhone.
Yep.
And hopefully, as time goes, we'll be able to learn a little bit more about editing. But the thing about this channel is, I can just about guarantee you, maybe 10% of this channel, if not less than that, will be kill shots on deer.
Right.
Because the truth is, when you're hunting, I would say where I got that 10% from is maybe 10% of the hunts, if that, maybe 5%, you'll have a shot at a big mature buck.
All right, you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. My name's Ryan Garrity. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I actually started deer hunting this year. I've been duck hunting and stuff like that for the last 3 years, but I've always been a big bass fisherman. Fished tournaments, fished all sorts of events, BFLs. No opens yet. Maybe I'll get there one day, but now I'm here deer hunting.
What kind of bow are you shooting?
I'm shooting a Parker Poison 23. I got it at Nickel Store, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Got it on a Black Friday sale last year. So I was out. Colton and I sat in the stand one morning. He's like, "Man, you should get a bow." I was like, "You know what? Maybe I should." So I went to the nickel store and I went down there, bought a bow, and here I am now, hunting my first deer season with a bow. So some people don't want to jump right into bow hunting, but I wanted to, and I'm up for the challenge.
So what's making you want to deer hunt for the first time this year?
You know, the fishing kind of gets crappy in the winter, and I've just been sick of sitting on a boat in the cold sometimes, and just like, you know what, I need to find something to do during the off season, and this is it.
So this is your first year deer hunting, but it's not your first year duck hunting. You want to tell them the story about that time you had to use your socks?
Yeah, there was one time in the duck blind. We're sitting out there and ducks are just getting ready to fly in, and I had had a couple too many cups of coffee, maybe a beer or two the night before, and it hit me. I was like, "Oh man!" I said, "I know the ducks are getting ready to fly in, but I might have to dip behind the blind to go number 2." So it just hit me like a train. It hits me. I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta go. I gotta go." I got full waders on, a Drake jacket, and I stripped down to everything, and I leaned up against a tree, and I let one loose. I had nothing to wipe with, so I had to use a pair of socks. And thank God I had on 2 pairs of socks that morning, or I would have been screwed.
And I remember walking over there, and I remember Ryan was wearing white socks when we showed up, but he had 2 brown socks laying on the ground.
Yep.
So what kind of stand are you hunting out of this year?
Hunting out of a hang-on stand. It's over on a piece of property down the street from our house. Practiced a little bit tonight, getting ready how to put one up, and the safety aspect, and getting in and out of the stand so I don't potentially hurt myself.
That's good. So I guess for the final, question, what are you hoping to accomplish with this channel?
With this channel, I'm trying to cover a variety of people. I want to just, from beginners, experienced guys, I want to put out content that just makes people laugh, puts a smile on somebody's face, learn a little bit. In this channel, we're all learning together. All of us are learning together. So as I just want to create maybe some humor, a little bit, just show y'all what we do, how we run, and just put smiles on y'all's faces, maybe learn a few things from us.
I couldn't have said it better myself. All right.
Sounds good. All right. Introduce yourself.
All right, my name's Colton Harrell. I was born July 8th, 1997 in Matthews, North Carolina.
Sounds good. I know we've known each other for a while. What are your other hobbies? What did you do in high school?
Well, other than hunting, I guess my other hobby's fishing. And in high school, football, track, and me and you fished tournaments all over the country. Me and Ryan fished the high school national championship, the Bassmaster Classic for high school. So that was a good time.
How'd you meet our crew we got here at Buck Bandits Outdoors?
So I've known Ryan since early middle school. I met Sammy actually. So there were 2 teams from North Carolina that fished the high school national bass fishing championship. It was me and Ryan, and it was Sammy and his bass fishing partner. And it turns out that me, Ryan, and Sammy ended up going to East Carolina and fishing for the East Carolina bass fishing team. And a few years after fishing on the team, I became friends with Sammy, and he ended up being my roommate for 2 years. I met Jake on the bass fishing team for East Carolina, and we've been he likes to duck hunt, so we did a lot of duck hunting on the East Coast. And I actually shot my first deer with a bow with Kate.
Yeah.
So that's how I know him.
Okay. And what initially sparked your flame for doing all this hunting?
So luckily, I know a lot of people don't have the luxury of growing up in a hunting family, but my dad has been all over the world hunting. He's been to Africa, Mongolia, he's been all over the place fishing, Costa Rica. So I really got to give him the credit for introducing me to the outdoors and teaching me basically everything I know about hunting.
Nice. Now you mentioned that we fished in high school together. We referred to ourselves as the Dream Team.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Tell us your funniest story about the Dream Team.
Oh man, that's all right. So let me start off with saying who the Dream Team was. So if you're not familiar, the way high school bass fishing works is you've got a boat captain and you've got two fishermen that are partners. So me and Ryan were the two partners, and our boat captain was a guy that we called Bear, but his name is Brandon Kurznowski. And basically, it's hard to put it into words without trying to brag, but we pretty much won all the bass fishing tournaments in high school for our area. And so, the Olympic basketball team in the 90s, the Dream Team, they were beating everybody, so we ended up calling ourselves the Dream Team. And we ended up winning the Riley's Cup, and we ended up getting second, actually, so I guess we didn't win everything. We got second in the state championship behind Sammy and his partner, and that's what qualified us for the national championship. And so the funny story, I'll just say the first thing that popped in mind. It's kind of weird because you just told a funny poop story. But so this was probably our senior year. We had already qualified for the national championship, and we're fishing on Lake Norman. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Lake Norman or not, but there's not a whole lot of big bass in Lake Norman. It's majority spotted bass, and we're fishing at a time of year where it's hard to catch them. It was hot. So our boat captain, I'm kind of worried if I should say this. I know Rod's going to see this.
It's fine.
But anyways, Rod, if you're watching, I'm sorry we did this, but it's funny now. So basically, we had been fishing the tournament. We hadn't been catching anything. So we come up with a plan to pull out early, basically. So we're thinking, and Bear says, Ryan, call Rod and tell him that you diarrheaed your pants. And Ryan's like, no. And finally, we kept fishing for a little bit longer, and we weren't catching anything. So finally, Ryan turns around and he's like, should I call Rod? And me and Bear are like, yeah, call him. So we get out the phone, and Ryan calls Rod, and he says, Rod, I think I have food poisoning. I diarrheaed in my pants. And I had to get in the water, and I diarrheaed all in the water. So then Rod was like, oh no, Ryan, I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And Ryan was like, I guess we're gonna pull out. And Rod's like, okay, yeah, man, of course. So me and Ryan and Bear pulled out and went to Lake Wiley and ended up sacking them on Lake Wiley.
Yeah, now, what is your funniest, most embarrassing hunting story?
My funniest, most embarrassing hunting story. Oh man, it's funny looking back now, but at the time it definitely wasn't funny. So I was actually in Colorado on an elk hunt, and I usually go out there with just me and my dad, but my mom had been begging us for years to take her out there, and so we took her out there, and she doesn't hunt, so we said, all right, you can be the video camera girl, basically. And I let her, she carried the camera around and followed us around. So, long story short, we've been hunting all week, and it came down to it, and this was going to be my first elk with a bow. And so
one thing about my parents is I never cuss in front of my parents, ever. I don't think I've ever said a cuss word in front of my parents, other than this moment. So this big 370 class elk's coming down the hill. I've got my bow, I'm nervous. He's at 41 yards. So I draw back and I let my arrow fly and I hit him probably about 5 inches back. I ended up hitting him in the liver. That elk let out a growl. It sounded like a bear growling. And he had about 5 cows with him. Those cows took off, but that elk ended up running right towards us. So my mom was carrying the camera and she was carrying my quiver. So she handed me another arrow and I knocked it and I pulled back. He was probably about 30 yards now and I let it go. And there was a sapling aspen tree. I swear it had to be less than an inch across. And that second arrow went smack right into that little sapling. Shattered the arrow, splintered up the sapling. And I said, F. Basically, right in front of my parents. And so she handed me another one. I knocked it. Third shot, I hit him right in the heart. He walked 5 yards and fell over dead. But that was probably one of the funnier moments looking back.
And what kind of bow are you shooting?
I'm shooting right now I'm shooting a 2014 Hoyt. So it's an older bow, but it's one of those things where if I wanted to get a new one, I could sell that one and get a new one. But I've got so many memories with that Hoyt. I'm gonna keep it till the limbs fall off, basically.
So, what are you looking forward to the most about this hunting season? Tell us a little bit about the properties and how you manage them and how you manage your deer at that same time.
So, I'll tell you why. This is kind of a long shot here, but my goal for this season, I want to have all of us kill a nice buck, right? And whenever I want them to be nice enough to get them mounted. And then in about 8 months or so, when they come back, I want to take a picture of all of us behind the bucks with the mounted bucks. So that's my goal. It's a tough goal, but I think it's achievable if we stick at it. And basically for the properties, we've got a few properties around here. We're hunting a lot of floodplain behind neighborhoods. It's basically urban hunting is what we're doing. We've got a little farm in South Carolina that we can go to with a bunch of ponds, but those big deer, they're in those swamp, floodplain bottoms behind these neighborhoods. So I think that's what we're gonna do and get after them out there.
Get after it.
Let's get after it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. That's our first video. We're gonna try and release 1 to 2 videos a week for you guys. Looking forward to this season. Looking forward to producing some good footage for you guys. Some good learning experiences. Thank you for watching.
Buck Bandits out.
Buck Bandits out.